Hello and welcome to this issue of Motive Garage, proudly presented by Just Car Insurance. Now it's time for another Pimp My Wife's Ride special. Yes, the WRX is gone, and yes, we bought a Jeep. And yes, we bought a Jeep. Now before you start commenting on silly ad slogans and how we should have bought a bigger boat or some stupid old moose test that's not relevant, or you tell us that your uncle's, nephew's, brother's, cousin's, sister's pen pal had a warranty claim once, let us explain to you why we bought a Jeep and why they're awesome. So our WRX was approaching 200,000 kilometres and we felt it was time for replacement, something newer and bigger as life changes. My wife wanted a full-size SUV, and therein part lied the problem. How many good-looking full-size SUVs are there that snap necks, drive well, and can look tough? Something to be proud of. There's a few, but they've got Euro badges and are rather expensive. I stumbled on the Jeep Grand Cherokee SRT and was instantly in love. It looked awesome. Problem is, they're 90 grand new and use fuel like you wouldn't believe. So I looked at the range of normal Jeep Grand Cherokees instead. Luckily, Jeep Australia gave us a few press cars to try out, and my wife and I were instantly hooked. They really do drive that good. We got to test out both turbo, diesel and petrol, and a few different trim levels including the Black Hawk. After more research and nearly a year to sleep on it, we still hadn't found another SUV we preferred. So we knew it was the right car for us, but in what trim? Well, this is where it gets interesting. Looks-wise, both inside and out, we were going to add our own touches regardless. So really, we could just buy the base model, save 20 grand, and spend it on mods. In terms of drivetrain though, this is where it gets interesting. The turbo diesel is a torque monster and drives great, but back-to-back comparisons with petrol showed fuel consumption wasn't actually that much better, probably due to having the foot down all the time in the diesel. In the real world, the petrol V6 used 3 litres extra per 100 kilometres, which is around 600 litres extra per year, which works out to less than $70 a month for us. Not much really, but when you factor in that the turbo diesel is a whopping $15,000 more than the two-wheel drive petrol V6 to buy, you realise the total cost of ownership when you have a lease is much less with the two-wheel drive petrol, by over $300 a month in our case. And this before you factor in that the petrol has longer service intervals, cheaper to service, and from our research, the two-wheel drive petrol is the most reliable model, having less things to go wrong. But if you tow, this all goes out the window as the turbo diesel really is required. And if you want to use the Jeep's off-road talents, the 4x4 is required as well. But like I said, not for us. We already have a tow car, and this is a road use only family car. So once we decided on the spec, we headed to our friends at Landed Jeep in Blacktown to order our car. So what's the plan? Simple really, take styling cues from the SRT and Black Hawk model to make our Jeep look both tough and baller. While we waited for our car to arrive, we ordered some black badges and some body parts, as well as a set of 22-inch Koya wheels in black. We took the car to Graham at Tint and Protect in Castle Hill, where we would base the project. Tint and Protect specialise in tinting and paint protection systems, but also do vinyl wraps with printing in-house and other car detailing. First job was to strip the car down, and what a mission it was. With the front bumper breaking down into over 30 pieces for a grand total of over 50 exterior pieces that needed to be colour-coded or painted satin or gloss black. Lots of work, but it would be worth it. With everything off, Graham did what he does best and tinted the Jeep. Nice and dark to suit the look of the car. We also colour-coded the brake calipers. We also ordered some genuine Black Hawk spec badges to fit up and complete the murdered out look. Meanwhile, the exterior parts were off being colour-coded and painted, and once they were returned, it was time to fit them all up. Once again, another massive job, but well worth it. Graham's next big job was to wrap the roof in gloss black to finish off the black and white theme of the car. Being a petrol V6 model, we weren't really out to increase the performance of our Jeep, but the stock single exhaust did look a little pansy now. Luckily, the guys from Landed Jeep had an SRT cutback exhaust laying around from a brand new car they had upgraded the exhaust on. It was perfect as it would not only look good, but is colour-coded black and would look factory. We headed over to Castle Hill Exhaust to get it fitted. Although the hangers lined up, that is about all that lined up, with new flanges needed to be welded on and the tips needed to be cut off and repositioned to suit the rear bar as it's different to an SRT. The guys from Castle Hill Exhaust also cut out a new opening for the second exhaust tip. All in all, it took a couple of hours and cost much less than an aftermarket exhaust, and like we said, looked nice and factory. Next on our list to pimp was the interior. Same as the outside, we wanted classy and stylish. So, black with white stitching was chosen to match the outside and match the factory black leather accents. We headed to Exotic Leather in Silverwater to see Clarence, who has been doing interior trimming for over 30 years. These days, he specialises in trim kits and also re-trimming cars for dealerships, including Audi and BMW, just to name a few, meaning his standards are OEM quality. He has templates in stock to suit most popular makes and models, which makes retrims quite affordable. The process seems straightforward, but the skill involved in removing the factory trim, brackets and padding, and then reinstalling it correctly and without damaging it or the airbag systems is not as easy as it seems and quite time-consuming. Removing modern-day seats isn't easy either. We went for Napa leather all round, but with AMG-style perforated inserts in the front, keeping it child-friendly in the back. The front and rear seats took an entire day, but being based off a template, the entire retrim is quite affordable at approximately $2,000 for a leather retrim front and back, and $2,500 for a Napa retrim front and back. This is cheaper than most dealer and OEM options, and in our opinion, better quality. And you get to choose the colours. With the seats reinstalled, the job was done and our Jeep was pimped. Parked here at Landed Jeep, you can see just how different our Jeep is now compared to what it once was as a stock Laredo. We also managed to totally transform the look for the fraction of a cost of an SRT and for much less than a Black Hawk model, proving once again that modifying your car selectively and stylishly can pay off. It's the little things that make the difference, like painting the chrome trim and using satin black to offset the gloss black in certain parts of the car. The little details that you don't notice straight away is what makes the big difference.
aux mes victimes, déhanché comme au Jackson. Je te chante pas la pomme, bébé, t'es malade, tu ton sérum. J'ai assez parlé, donne-moi donc tes coordonnées. Mon téléphone love sera bientôt désarmé.
Te laisser ouvert, couvert ou torse à l'air. J'accosse avec drapeau, chapeau. Diaspora, le bol d'or est fredonné, alors Jimmy est couronné. Mon tronçon enfonce comme le chip dans une matrice avec malice. Mon élixir fait déborder le vase, l'extase, écrit comme Nas dans le chapitre ultime qui révèle ma carabine qui ne prend de recul. J'éjacule avant de mollir. Un compte à rebours, décapitation dans cette basse-cour. Un aller sans